Hello, welcome back. Another edition of Kane's Corner. I've been back. I think my internet's already messed up. I don't like that. Hold on one second. Unbelievable. All right, we're good. All right, welcome back. Jesus, crazy show today. Oh man, very fun, very fun. Good pairing. Montante and Ted is a good pairing. The problem with Montante is though you know you got to realize you're not going to get a lot of words in. So I think he covered up Ted a little bit, but Ted, finds his spots, and it's a very entertaining show today. Obviously, the Justin freak out that was bound to happen. I mean, it's only so many times you can comment on his significant other without her finally maybe getting to him, or maybe he just himself just saying fuck this, like I've had enough of you just shitting on me every chance you get. And um Kirk took it pretty well. I gotta say, he took it well. He didn't kind of let him get his steam off. And hey, look, he's heard that a lot. I mean, Kirk has said that probably, I mean, in the last couple months about how bad he was at his job. 50 times more, 60 times, and what an explosion. What an awesome start to the show. Just exciting. So I really enjoyed today's show. I thought Montante's story about his mom returning food at the restaurant, or not, the lack of returning the food to the restaurant, was great. Really enjoyed that. He just goes all over the place. He's, again, I almost, at this point, I guess you look at him, I don't even look at him like a third chair anymore. I think I judge it more on if I could listen to him on the show every single day, particular person, doesn't matter who it is. If I could have them on the show every day, I kind of put them in the second chair role for my, that's kind of the way I look at it. Like Mike's obviously a guy like that. I think Montante at this point, if he was on that show every day, I'd be, I would be totally fine with it. I think he could do it. I know it's never going to happen. He's got his social life. He's selling aluminum. And it's probably not going to happen, but he definitely, he had a great show today, and he does a great job. I'm off to a little slow start here. To be honest, obviously, I got the shit kicked out of me on Thursday. That was brutal. Obviously worse. He's done this way worse to other people. I personally, I deserve it. I deserved all of it. I don't think he said anything that wasn't really true. To be honest, I think some stuff may be overblown, but at this point, if I'm not sober enough to know that's what I said, it's pretty hard to, say you didn't say it. So, I feel really bad that he was that upset about it. It was out of line. It caused me to look more inward, which I need to do. I just, I can't be doing things that I'm doing. I actually, stupidly. I was talking to my mother. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be on the show. And oh man, not a great conversation. It's just pretty, not happy. So, it is what it is. I'm a grown man, but, cause you to look inward. You got to ask yourself, is it really, is this who I really want to be? Probably not. I think my personality is my personality. That's not going to change much. But I don't have to be, drinking at all. So, I don't plan on doing it. I think it's the best bet for me. It's been a lot better. Past few days, I felt a lot better. So I'm just going to roll it. And, it's unfortunately, I still do stupid things. Like for instance, tonight, I guess I'll throw it out to the people, I don't know. I'm in a relationship now. It's kind of moving, I think to the next level is the right way to put it. It's going great in a lot of ways. I do have a lot of we're looking at thinking about eventually moving in together and all that stuff. So, you think of things from that angle, and you really think about what you're doing, because she has kids, I have kids. You have to blend the kids together. And it's a lot of work. And, I guess you weigh out the pluses and the minuses. I'm sure she's doing the same thing. We talk about it quite a bit. So, tonight I went over there. To hang out or whatever, and I got to a point where I was like, what, she just was taking so long to get home, and I just like, I'm going home, going to my apartment. And I guess like I started thinking about like, you know, what are things that are like, um what's the word, things that you have to have, or things that are what the fuck is the word? I can't think of what the word is. Non-negotiables, I guess, what you would say it that way. You know, what are you looking at, and you say, all right, if this person has these qualities, or is it a no go for you? Like for instance, if somebody doesn't have a job, I'm not saying this is my situation at all. I'm just saying, like, some people might say, like, well, if they don't have a job, I really don't think I could be with that person. I mean, yes, it's a decent, I mean, I can understand that, or like, hey, you're with a woman and you say, like, to you, it's important that she knows how to cook and do other things. And to me, that doesn't matter because I'm a very good cook. So I don't really necessarily worry about that. But if, just for instance, if somebody's like a hoarder adjacent, um, is that a non-negotiable? That's, I don't want to call anybody a hoarder. I mean, I don't think that. I think it's more of a situation where I feel sometimes well, that's important to me, is making sure we keep a nice household, nice and clean and uptight, and be on the same page. And I think sometimes, I'm not saying it's this person I'm talking about, but um, maybe sometimes, people don't want to let go of certain things. For instance, if I say, hey, and we should get a dumpster and throw some stuff out. And the first defense is like to like get down my throat and be like, "We're throwing it out." Um, you know, those things you have to weigh. Those things you have to weigh. So tonight, I've been over there a lot. I've been hanging out, and I just came in and I was just like, man, I see. My problem is I really feel like I could help the situation. Very organized, believe it or not, very organized. And I'm like a woman in this way. I like to clean. I like to do all the housework. I like to do all these things. And I think sometimes people might get like sensitive about that, where they're like, they feel like they're, not, they feel bad about what they can or cannot do. And to me, it's all a team effort, you know? I think it's, those are the things I'm kind of rattling in my head right now. And the positives much, by far outweigh the negatives. So, but I had to, I like a child, I guess child. I mean, I told her I was leaving, but I just needed a night at my own apartment. And that kind of stuff kind of scares me. It's like, do I really need to go back there to my own apartment? What does that message send? Um, to be honest, like I really enjoy being with this person. I actually love her a lot. So I guess I'm gonna have to weigh the checks and the balances, the pluses and the minuses, um, and see what's really important to me. But I do want to, you know, I do want to help around the house. That would be kind of the pitch I'd be making, to help around the house. I don't mind. I don't mind doing those things. So, yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure I'm gonna hear about this later, which is whatever. I guess I'll figure that out. But figured I'd get that out there and see what you guys think. I don't know. Maybe people live in complete clutter and they don't mind. And it's not like it's dirty. It's more just like too much stuff, And it was gonna be pretty hot in there today, and so I'll call her later and take my beating then. But anyway, off that topic, because I'm sure the phone will be texting very shortly. Yes, Thursday's show was brutal for me. I think too, like you again, when somebody's that upset, It's probably not going to go well for you. And I know I've heard the criticism out there. I heard the people. You could have done this. You could have done that. Sure, you could do a lot of things. I think when you're in that environment, I think it's easy to say that. But really, I was thinking like I really don't want to lose my scorekeeping duties here. So and the other part of it is like I'm not gonna go in and fight with Mutt. I mean, I like Mutt, so I mean it made no sense. Like I'm not like Manners who hates him. I don't have those feelings toward him, so it made no sense that route. Obviously, they did a great job in there. They made me look horrible, which I do. And they deserve the ass kicking that I got. But I'll say, man, I was, after that, I've come out of that studio feeling like shit before. Definitely not the first time. This time felt worse. I felt bad. I felt really bad that he felt that way. I gotta say, when Mutt said he hated me too, I was like, holy shit. So I didn't see that coming. The hate. I mean, I get it. It's fine. I'm over it. But yeah, that was a tough one. That was quite the ass kicking. And again, we've all seen much worse. And I think about like what Mike must have felt like after that Madawaska show. That must have been awful. Because it's not easy when he's really good at what he does, and when he gets on top of you like that, like you feel it, man. And I really like, you just realize the difference in, when you deal with amateurs in comparison to professionals, and there's a big fucking difference. And he's one of the best, and I do feel bad that I don't. Again, I can't combat things I don't know what I said. I'm not going to cop out. I'm just going to say that they're probably right that I did say them. Some people I didn't believe them, but there were, like that scumbag Jackson from Australia. Once he said that I did say it, because I trust him. Don't really care for him much, but he's like, you definitely did say that stuff. So, I have to own it. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. And, unfortunately, it's, I don't know, really not much more to say about it other than, I do regret saying it. And yeah, that's about it for that. I will say I got a bunch of calls. All of a sudden now people have my number, which is kind of funny. The trolls, the people calling you, busting your balls, blah, 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 whatever. Then I get this text message. Let me pull it up here. Sorry, I'm really hot. This apartment is fucking steaming right now. All right. I got this text message. It says, I get it. It says, it's Kane. Let's squash this. So I wrote back to him, who? He said, Kane is able, Michael, as you so kindly pointed out last night. So I wrote to him, who are you? And he said, wait, who are you? And I said, well, I'm Kane. He said, how are you, Kane? I know. He said, how are you, Kane? I am Kane. I'm like, I wrote to him, is this some sad attempt at a mental mind game? And he wrote something like, haha, I'm not even sure. And I basically told him, don't trust the troll. Then he asked me what my favorite color was. That kind of gives it away. Only one person's asked me that before. I told him sky blue, which it is my favorite color. I thought it was boner salad at first. Nope. So then it cuts off whatever. I said, I was basically asking my color, and that was pretty much it. So I just took the number and I, went backwards. And I will say, the guy from the basketball team that should be, obviously I was shocked on the other, I don't know, the Bio Dude show, where Kirk went around the room and asked everybody which one on the team they thought he was most worried about. And none of them got Pat Ford, and I was shocked. So a guy in the basketball team, Pat Ford, sent me this, and he's instead of fucking focusing on the game, he's trying to send wherever this could have gone. Who the fuck was he even sending it to? I don't remember the situation. I don't know who I was squashing it with, but that's where Pat's head is right now. It's kind of in the clouds. He's kind of more involved in the spaces, as we saw Menner's clip him in spaces as a co-host late at night. He's in there all the time, which is fine. Will he quiet quit the team? I don't think so. I'm on the record as saying they definitely could use him. I think they kind of need him. He's a better player than some of these people are giving him credit for. It'll be sad if he doesn't show up on Tuesday and he can't play. I'm sorry, on Saturday for practice. Is there practice Saturday? Yep, there was, right? It's one coming up. If he's not there and he can't play, it's kind of a big blow for them. We had there was a coach's corner space, and there was a bunch of guys in there talking about it, like predicting the starting lineups, and everybody had different opinions. And I'm of the opinion, like, I know he's not going to start, but he probably should. I mean, he's one of the better players in the team. So, but his mind is worried about pretending he's me and talking to other people. And again, the trolls let you down, Pat. They sent you down the wrong course. I mean, they're starting to not to like you already. I can tell. A lot of ball busting. That's how it happens. Before you know it, you'll be wishing you never got involved with these people. But look, hey, everybody has to learn their lesson the hard way. So I appreciate it, Pat, but focus on the game, buddy. That's where your head should be. Just keep your head focused. Obviously, the Mick situation today was crazy too. A lot of different opinions. Honestly, from what I saw, most people were like, "Fuck, don't put Mick on." Like, they took Dave's side mostly. I think that was the majority of the people that I saw. Other than the fanboys or whatever, but they kind of, it seemed like they were just like, why would you put this guy on? And to be honest, like, that's kind of a huge blow to Mick. I mean, it's a huge fucking blow to him not bringing him on that show. Him not getting on the show really kind of makes it a moot point at all. Like, if he doesn't go on there, nobody knows anything about him in any situation at all. I mean, he doesn't. I don't think he really believes some of the stuff he said. I don't think he really is that passionate about Israel and Palestine at all. I don't think that's something he's totally passionate about. And I think he's just waving his arms. I really do believe that. If he doesn't want to bring him on, that kind of just only hurts Mick. It doesn't hurt. Dave only can lose in that situation, I think. And I think that's kind of what he was thinking. He's like, I'm not going to bring him on here to just, give him what he wants. And that is true. That is what Mick wanted. But personally, as a fan, it's very disappointing. From my end, I really wanted to see him on there. I thought he would have done a great job. He's actually, I don't know if you've been, I'm sure most people are listening to his podcast, but he's on a real good tear right now. He sounds healthy. I think it would have been a good debate going back and forth. But if you don't bring him on the show, Dave just kind of, stuck his head right in the dirt. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. We also got the exchange between him and Kirk, which was unbelievable that he called him a little bitch. Couldn't believe that. Kirk's matured a lot. I couldn't believe he just took that. I was shocked. That says a lot about that he really didn't want to fuck up and not be part and then not be able to play that game, it takes a lot of, I'm sure it took a lot of discipline not to do that. Because, and again, it is kind of weird. Dave is definitely flirting on the line of like the free speech stuff too. You can't go around calling somebody a Nazi without any proof, like he did with Mick and all that stuff, and then cry about when somebody, says stuff to you. It's the same. It's kind of the same thing. Mick's definitely not a Nazi, so it's kind of an awful thing to call somebody. You can't really call anybody something worse, can you? It's pretty much the worst thing. So, unfortunately, as Mick showed, he has some guts. On that basketball court, he showed his balls, which was great. But today, Dave just really, cut his fucking knees out, and unbelievable. That's too bad. No matter what Mick posts or says about Dave, none of it's relevant. You didn't get on the show and get to battle with him, and that's what would have been the real star of the show. And it didn't happen. It's not his fault. It's not Kirk's fault either. I think Dave just, probably made the right decision for himself. I would say, I won't even say probably. He definitely made the right decision. He gains nothing from bringing Mick on there. Nothing. Bringing Mick on there does nothing for him. It only helps Mick. But as I said, like if you're looking for like entertainment, man, we really fucking lost out because that would have been really entertaining. So that's too bad. So I guess I hadn't really talked about Mike. Cutting down to 2 times a month. That sucks. That really does suck. I think it's going to be hard. I mean, unless you have a good replacement, somebody that it's not going to be replaced with one person, obviously. I mean, I think somebody like Montante, though, could step in and do a lot of it. He's not going to be able to because of where he works and stuff like that. But Mick's the guy that could do it too. But he's not part of the show. There's just not enough, enough talent out there to just say, hey, we're going to bring this person in and it's going to be like Mike. It's not going to happen. I mean, Mike's the best person that's ever worked with Kirk. I mean, he's honestly, I don't really, and I heard Kirk say this, there's a lot of people out there that like probably subscribe to his stuff and don't really consume his content. And I happen to be one of them. I'm not really big into I like Mike. I don't know why I don't watch it. I mean, maybe it's more just, the comedy stuff I'm not really into. But I was watching one the other day with him and Craig, and it was very good. And maybe I will watch it more. But no, it's not to say like I really love him on the show, and with him not on the show, that's going to be a huge fucking blow. And I think I do agree with marriage in some ways. It's kind of going past people a little bit. I think. I think I understand the show is Kirk Minahan. I get that, but Mike twice a week. What he's been doing really solidifies the other piece of it, the third chair piece, because if you have 2 bad third chairs, it just doesn't. Kirk has to work way harder than he should have to. At least with Mike there, if you have somebody that's not struggling, Mike's going to pick it up. He's never going to. He really rarely. I mean, can't think of the last time he had like a bad show. He just doesn't have them. He's so consistent. He's so good. And it's just a shame that he had to go and buy a house and leave us. It's unfortunate, but I did enjoy Brando's question. If does it matter if he has a yard because he's blind? That was funny, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. I really, I don't. I guess Mike basically said he's gonna be there twice a month, so at least we'll have that. But it was, it was just disappointing news for the fans. But they'll figure it out. They'll have some other avenue they're going to go, and Kirk always figures it out. So, good news. Oh, sorry. Another thing that got like way out of context with me too. Maybe context the wrong word, but I'm standing by my Bobby Costa take. Okay, did I say it was whiny? Maybe that was wrong. Possibly. Maybe it wasn't so whiny when I went back and listened. Not whiny at all, but I do stand by the point of like, Bobby didn't go on for 400 days or whatever he said, right? And now, 2 out of 3 weeks or whatever it is, all of a sudden he has off days. And I'm not going to necessarily just blame Dave or the producer. I mean, it is on the person to say, hey, don't be scared, Bob. You can wave your arms a little bit. He's very good in studio. I mean, I think Kirk insulted me. I thought he insulted me when he said Bobby was better than me. Of course he is. Guy has real talent. Waste it. So I do think, him all of a sudden now being available on a Friday kind of proves my point, I think, a little bit. Is it the only 2 off days he's had in the last 400 days? Probably not. So, I want to take that a little bit of that. I'll take a half a victory lap on that. I'm glad Bobby's going to be there on Friday. Good, Bobby. Good for Dave. Bringing in some stars. You couldn't get who was the guy who was supposed to come there? I can't remember his name now. The guy who was supposed to come in the day I was coming in, but we don't need it. We got enough people. You got enough people. Like you can get some new people here and there, but like if you got Bobby Costa that hasn't been on in a year. You put Mama Kane on 6 times. I don't know whose fault that exactly is. But I mean, I'm going to say, I guess I'll lean 70-30 to the producer. But, as a young guy, you got to go out there and get your spot. And it seems like that's what he's doing. I don't know the exact situation, how it went down. So maybe just talking right out of my ass, but just seems odd that Bobby couldn't come on for over a year and I can come on 2 out of 3 weeks or whatever. But so, congratulations. We'll see him on Friday, I hope. Looks like that Jake the KMS is kind of losing steam, which is good news. I think it'd be a bad fit on the show. I don't. This might help him. So maybe I should go the opposite way. But he's not really somebody that watches the show, listens to it. He's just doing it for pure attention. This is what he runs 16 spaces a day. There's nobody that wants more attention than Jake. He's a smart guy, very smart. But like I've said to him, you're a smart guy and you have all the tools, but you fucking don't have a pot to piss in. So I don't know what that means. I'm not sure why you live in your mom's basement. I don't know. You're a very smart guy. I've heard you talk. You're smarter than most people think he is. You have nothing. So I don't know. You try to weigh both of those, and he's not really a fan of the show. I think he'd be doing it for attention. I like the guy, so it's tough. But it seems like it kind of lost a little bit of steam. So that's unfortunate. But hey, you never know. It's gonna be tight. You're gonna need some people. So maybe he comes up for one show, see how it goes, which would be cool. But I guess for him it would be cool. But I'm not really seeing the fit. But it is what it is. I am gonna say though, I'm glad kind of Kirk's turning a little bit now toward doing the dozen. I know Jeff D. Lowe said, I'm one of the people that understands the show the least, and that could be true. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that slander, but I do think like if you're friends with somebody like this, and I understand the company angle and I get all that, whatever, but people did I guess purchase tickets thinking you're gonna be there. I know he said it was sensitive to that, but also like Jeff's like a friend, I just think like if you're not gonna do anything else, just finish out the dozen. Finish it out for the fans. People like myself. I don't want to watch Chris Klemmer, a scab, and Robbie Fox. It doesn't seem right. I don't want to see that. Give the people what they want. They want to come to Boston. They want to see you there. They want to watch the show. Everybody wants Kirk there. I get Dave is they're in a battle right now, and it's crazy. But in the end of the day, like Jeff is a really good guy, and it's a great product for people that don't watch the dozen. You should. It's very good. I'd be really. I think I'd be. I don't think I gotta give a fuck, but I'd be kind of disappointed if he doesn't do it. I think that's kind of a weak move. Like don't do the other things. I get all that, but the dozen. You're close with Jeff. You're gonna be in his wedding. You got to. I think you got to do it. I think you got to do it. Selfishly, I think you got to do it, and I also think just I won't say morally, but friend to friend, he's a good guy. He's good. He loves your show. He participates. He's involved. I think you got to do it. So I'm hoping he does it. I think he will. I think in the end he will. So should be a great show. Oh yeah. So today's show I didn't get through the whole show. I think I got about 25 minutes left, but there was a few things. The restaurant story was really funny. I don't know where that went. It didn't land. And then he kind of terrible story. But anyway, we all do it. The thing about not returning the sheets is just that I don't get it. I really still haven't wrapped my mind around it. Like, must be nice not to have kids and like maybe you don't have the same bills that I would have or whatever it is. But to spend like he said, to spend an extra $150 that you don't need to spend at Costco when you can just return it is fucking wild to me. Like I could almost understand if you were at like a mom and pop shop where somebody the kind of the business is like it's just family. They're kind of struggling or whatever it is. Like, these big box stores like Costco and these other places are fucking knocking these people out. You're like, you know what? I wasn't going to keep these sheets, but, I want to help my fellow, local business out. I get that. But this Costco, they don't give two fucks about you. Be quite honest. Like, I'd almost respect you more if you fucking stole the one and you know what I mean? I cannot believe you bought 3 that you didn't need because of embarrassment. And that was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I mean, you still can return it, Montante. Just fucking return it. So don't die on the hill. It's $150. That was crazy. I mean, you can't compare it to a restaurant. I mean, I didn't understand that comparison at all. I thought it was very funny that he tried to it's almost like you're looking into his brain and seeing like he has this like I don't know like insecurity or whatever it could be. And just like he just like embarrassed that he doesn't want to give it back, and it's like, man, just get your fucking money back. They don't care at all, not one bit. I mean, I think Ted works in those places, so he knows. Like you said, they got a bin right behind you. Just give it back and go on with your day. Oh man, that was crazy. It was a good story. What else we got from today? That's pretty much it. I know the I didn't really get into that Montante Tim Smith thing. I wish they would have. From people I talked to, that was like planning for months. He blows them off. I've seen Tim kind of show up a little, poke his head out. And I don't know. I'd like to. We haven't heard from him, obviously. I haven't. I don't know. Maybe he has spoke somewhere that I didn't see. I would love to hear what he has to say. I don't think we're going to hear it, but yeah, I'm surprised it didn't come up. I guess it's kind of old news, I guess, at this point, but a very weird story that really hasn't been ironed out yet. And I don't know if him and Montante have talked about it. I'm not sure. Montante may have talked about that, but I haven't seen it. So I'm looking forward to that answer. Come on, Tim. Come out. Come on, Kane's Corner. We do it here. I'll go on your show too, as long as Jackson's not on it, but I'll go on it. Yeah, I guess the only other thing too is just like this whole spaces thing here that's been going on. It's all I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's like I'm not up late. I'm not up at I know I heard Ted or somebody say up at 3:00 in the morning. Spaces never once. I don't think so. I think I fell asleep maybe at 1:00 once or twice. I don't know, but I've never been up to the late night. I know some crazy shit happens in there, but I'm still trying to I'm still trying to figure out exactly how that fits into the world. I was thinking about this the other day. Is like, what would Ted Sarandis think about spaces? That's interesting to me. Would he have abandoned the network ratings and kind of done like a spaces kind of ratings? I know I brought this up, and people are like, yeah, fucking don't steal what he does. I'm not saying I'm doing it. I was just saying it would be cool to have some kind of just a little bit of more information on certain people, because I know it's not supposed to be information that I guess it's supposed to be kind of private in the space, but obviously now things are coming out of the spaces all the time. So at this point, it'd be nice to get a little some of the characters and some of the problems that are having. I heard Tommy Quinlan in there the other day doxing one of the girls. He said he didn't. He's just a piece of shit, dude. He's just in there fucking bothering people, doxing a woman where she went to school, saying what her name is, reading out her dissertation. I mean, just a slime ball move, but I got to respect it. I do respect it. Because MM does it to herself. I know. I understand that very well. She's a person who does this stuff to herself, but there should be some kind of power ranking or something, just something, maybe some kind of description of who the people are. I'm a big BDO guy. How you doing? I love that guy. Trying to think of the other people, but not really that popular on the show. But I do enjoy the people in the spaces. I do spend a lot of time behind the wall, listening. I feel like whenever I go in there, I talk for a little bit, they just boot me out. So at this point, I don't think spaces is my spot. But I do enjoy listening from the outside, and some crazy shit happens in there. So it's exciting. I think somebody should do something, some kind of ranking, some kind of, I don't know. I don't know what it would be. I'm not really creative like that, so I'm not sure. And I don't think enough people really care probably, but I do enjoy the spaces. So I'm enjoying being listening to these guys. And, I think I saw Menners post something about this. It is an unbelievable community. It is kind of crazy when you think about like 30 people falling asleep together in a space. I mean, there is something to that. It is people rip on each other. The people hate each other. They like each other. The next day, it kind of clears out. They do it again. They do it the next day, clear. They do it again, and people are, wounded, and they gang up on this one or that one. It's just a fucking crazy situation. And Montante kind of said it perfectly. It is like their own culture. It is like their own kind of like, there is kind of like I don't think a hierarchy now, but there are the certain people that are in there all the time. And then there's some people that are kind of new. I saw a new guy in there. I think his name was Christian Campbell. Uh, no, just a new figure, or you'll see people popping. I guess there was some other crazy guy that I haven't heard yet that's in there now. So I'm enjoying the spaces. That's Jake's domain. That's where he's great. Be great in there, Jake. You're doing good on spaces. I think BDO's a little better than you. I hate to say it, but I think he's a little more entertaining. But for the most part, I'm enjoying spaces. But anyway, today I thought I haven't finished the whole show. I feel like I do feel like the last week of shows before this week's, Kirk seemed pretty down. I think as this week started, he seemed a lot more positive. I don't know if Justin does that the week before, that he gets the same reaction he got today. Speaking from experience, my asshole's still ripped. That was tough. I just don't know if it would have been the same. So he seems like in a much better mood, which is great. I think if I am going to finish on anything, anything I've ever thought or said or whatever, always is with the good intentions. I know there's people out there that are going to disagree, and that's fine. I'm sorry. You listen to somebody, over 10 years now, more 12 years, you just same voice. You don't know these people. You don't know Kirk like that, but you've heard him talk a lot. So you do get a connection to somebody, and if you hear somebody that seems like they're distressed, you do feel bad. You want to hope they're okay and everything's all right. And that's the way I think. I don't think about like, hey, let me get this information and do something with it negatively. That's just not how it's not how I think. So I just want to say, I how words come out, and me and Menners had a pretty, we talked about it. I do feel bad. I put him in a tough spot, too. Like I don't, I just appreciate the people in this world a lot. And, I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing. And, I can only say I can try to be better, for myself and for everybody. I really don't want to say things that I don't mean like that. And, I really can't combat it. So at that point, like, I guess I have to own it, like I said before, and that's what I'm going to do. But I do appreciate my friendship with Menners. I consider him a friend. And I've enjoyed every single time I've been on the show. I have to say, even the last time, I felt like, I felt like it was needed. I deserved it. And I, unlike Bio Dude, I didn't cry and act like a pussy on the way out. So I'm happy for that, Bio Dude, it wasn't even like he hardly got even hit. He's all crying. Like, what are you talking about, Bio Dude? He was very nice to you. Jesus. What the fuck would you have done the day before? Oh my God. He wouldn't have liked that. He wouldn't like that, Bio Dude. And it was, so I'm just grateful to, feel like I'm able to say this and mean it. So I do mean it. I mean, I'm sorry that I did those things, said those things, and hopefully I'll be better. I am a fucking idiot. So who knows? But for the most part, I appreciate everybody, and let's go to the chat. Anything good in the chat? And we'll get out of here. I am sweating a lot, Don. It's bad in here. I got to this apartment and fuck, man, I hadn't been here in a while, and it's 80 degrees. So, it takes a while to get these mill apartments cool. So, yes, I am sweating. But listen, it's good sweat, Not sweating off the booze, You know what I'm saying, Donnie? Don, who also another like in a rare pathetic mode. I mean, usually Don is. You can say what you want about him. I guess like he's very good on Twitter. He's spent the last part of a year trying to ruin the network, which I guess you gotta respect. But and then he's sending DMs, like he hasn't heard from me in a couple of days. So he has to get the DM out and be like, "Oh, the network's done." He says to me and Menners, and he goes on the internet. And he's saying other shit, tagging me and stuff. It's like, Don, get a fucking life. Just get a life. Have some fun. Have some fun. I don't think I've ever said anything bad about you, have I? So Let's see. Okay, yep, no. Oh, yeah, you can call me. Yep, thank you. What do you got? Well, Jackson's like half a scumbag. He went in a space the other day. Again, we're having a great conversation in Coach's Corner. I was in another space. They started talking about shit they shouldn't have been. Okay. So I just like, fuck this. Now I know. Like, get the fuck out of there. And I didn't realize I didn't leave the space. So I went over to Coach's Corner, which was great. Roscoe with a great Coach's Corner. It was awesome. Then they come in there and they say, he makes up shit that I'm saying in another thing. It's like, you know what? Like, I don't have time for that shit. I know you think it's funny, like it's funny to you, but it's not funny. Like, it's really not funny. It's a comedy podcast until it's not. If you're gonna say personal stuff and do stupid stuff, I mean, Jackson sits in fucking spaces 23 hours a day. I never seen anybody that's in spaces more than that guy. So anyway, when you go in and do that, I'm just not gonna engage, because that's engaging with you is the problem. That's what gets me all fucked up. Yeah, oh yeah. Gregory, I'm coked out of my mind. Trust me, I wouldn't be on here if I was. All right. That's about it. So I'll see you soon. Bye.